Geometry, Unit 1, Lesson 1. I can identify and use notation to name points, lines, and planes in figures. So a point is a location, and that location in space somewhere has no size or dimension. So it is without any size or dimension. So the key here, without dimension. And a sketch would be a dot to represent that point, and we always use capital letters to name it. Now the notation is kind of funny, but we just write the word point followed by its name. So you're going to speak it point A. Think of on a piece of paper this little hole punch as a point, or maybe the tip of the pencil. Now a line is a set of points, and that set extends in two directions forever. And it's worth noting that this is one-dimensional. So the point had no dimensions, but a line is one-dimensional because it just has length, one dimension. Now a line, to make one, you need a minimum of 2 points. And I can go ahead and name this line if I'd like. I can name it with the notation line AB, and notice this little thing on the top has 2 arrows on it to say it goes on forever, and you actually speak this right here as line, that symbol, and then following it with A and B. I could actually switch these around and speak it line BA. It describes the same line. There's one last little way. I can put a little lowercase letter at the very end of the line, and I can write line, in this case, C. I can name it with a single lowercase letter. So any of these ways names a line. Do not use 3 points, even if I put another one here. If I put like a D right here, doesn't matter, just choose 2 points on the line to name it. And finally, a plane is a flat surface of points that extends in all directions and that goes on forever as well. Notice this is 2-dimensional. The reason is because the plane has length and width. So a point has no dimensions, a line has 1 dimension, and a plane has 2 dimensions. Now I might go ahead and make a plane, kind of make like a little parallelogram here, like an angled look at your desk. A desk is a flat surface. And notice that the 3 points I'm putting down here to represent the plane only do not make a line. Instead, they make a triangle. Okay, and that's really, really important. Points are not in a line. They make instead a triangle. And if I want to name this, I write the word plane and I follow it with 3 letters, A, B, C. Those are 3 points that make a triangle in the plane. Because if you think about it, if you make that triangle, that's a flat surface, just like the flat surface of the plane itself. You could also name this a different order if you wanted, maybe BAC, as long as you're choosing 3 points that make a triangle, and as you can see are not in a line. There is one more way to name it, just like the line, I can put a letter at the end of it, actually in the corner. In this case, I'm going to use a big capital R. And notice there's no point next to it. That's the key. And I can call this right here plane R. That's the other way to name a plane. And if we think about the piece of paper, you can think of these lines here as a line, and you can think of the piece of paper itself as the plane. One last thing. Point, line, and plane are what we call undefined terms. They were so central and basic thousands of years ago that they actually could not come up with good, solid definitions of them, and they remained undefined. They were taken on faith in the beginning. So point, line, and plane are undefined terms, and those are the basics there. If we turn the page, we can go ahead and try these problems at the front. A line contains at least how many points? 2 points. And through any 2 points, there is exactly 1 line. Put down 2 points, you can only make 1 line. And a plane is defined by 3 points, not in a line. Think triangle. Now, if we try this example here, you can see this is a plane, a shaded plane. We have some questions. So name the plane using 1 letter. I write the word plane, and then I use the letter in the corner. In this case, it's P, plane P. But I can name it using 3 points as well. So name the plane. I like to underline or circle what I'm trying to do here. So here I'm naming a plane and a plane. Here I'm going to name a line. Here I'm going to name a line again. So I want to make sure that I use the right notation. And when you see name, I'm talking notation. So here I can write the word plane, and I need to choose 3 points here in this plane. I'm going to choose L, S, and J. I'm not going to choose L, J, Y. How come? Because they make a line, and I can't make a line. I have to make a triangle. So I might choose plane, how about Y, S, L? And maybe I'll just switch the order of that last one and say S, Y, L. As long as they don't make a line, you're okay. Now I want to name this line containing point T. Now let's hold on. What does containing mean? Think of a container, and a container holds something. So let's think of holds. Let's name a line that holds point T. Well, point T is right here. So where is a line that holds it? Well, here's the line. So how do I name or notate that line? Well, I could just call it line N, the single lowercase letter at the end. Or I can name it using how many letters? Just 2. So I can go ahead and choose just 2 of these points. How about T and J? And then I'm going to put the line symbol on top. But maybe I wanted to name it QJ. So I would say line QJ. Or I can name it line, how about JQ? But notice only 2 letters because you only need 2 points to make the line. Finally, what's a ray? Think of like a ray of light coming from the sun. It only comes in one direction. So I want you to think of it like a line, but only half of a line. So for us here, we're going to go ahead and sketch a picture. And right here I have a point at the end. I might call this one A and this one B. Okay. And if I go to notate this, I'm going to go ahead and say AB. But notice when I draw this symbol on top, which you speak ray, ray AB, it starts here at A and shoots through B. just like my symbol up here starts above A and shoots through B. For example, if I were to switch this around like I could for a line, this here is wrong because it doesn't start here at B, it starts actually at A. So this is incorrect. And you might say, well, can I rewrite it as long as I start it over here at A and move it over B? And we generally don't do that because we like to read it from left to right. So let's not do that either. So the important thing here is that order matters. Okay. And the last one, a line segment. A segment is like a line, but it doesn't go on forever. It ends here at A and B. It's just a piece. And the way I'm going to notate that is with a bar, and you actually speak that segment. AB. And this one I can switch it around, and it's going to be the same thing. This would be spoken as segment BA. And that's all for the basics of point, line, and plane.